Hi, my name is Rebecca Sharp, and I will be talking about how young people should be aware that a gap year is a beneficial alternative to directly entering post-secondary after high school. I will be discussing different things such as society's expectations for its youth, how parents apply too much pressure, how many students go to university regardless of their feelings, or how they will go whether they are financially and academically unprepared, and all this can lead into getting locked into bad career choices. Once again, taking a gap year after secondary is a beneficial alternative. It is not uncommon that many parents feel their teenagers should be attending a post-secondary institution immediately following their high school graduation. And these parents are not to blame, as it is the anticipated thing to do, and they expect even more if they themselves followed that path. However, many parents are blind to the fact that at just 18 years old, with little experience of real life outside of high school, their child may not be ready for university. Many parents are aware that the learning styles in the university environment are a cultural shift, but they might not be aware that their child could be very vulnerable to these challenges and conditions. Many teenagers feel pressure to go to a secondary institution, and many of them claim that the pressure comes from their parents, and they say that if they do not go to university, they feel that their parents would be very dissatisfied. Some parents may need to take a step back and really communicate with their child as to what their post-secondary desires are. Instead of applying so much pressure on one overrated idea, they should stand as a figure of support regardless of what their child decides to do. A survey executed by the Canadian Association of College showed that in just 1 year of university, 18.9% of students were diagnosed or given treatment by a professional for anxiety, 14.7% for depression, and 13% seriously thought about committing suicide. These stats are nothing short of alarming. It is quite evident that these young people may need to take some time to grow and develop mentally before immersing themselves into the rigors of university. It is important for parents to realize that their child may not be equipped with the proper coping mechanisms to attend university directly out of high school. Also, a common occurrence for students is that they will attend university regardless of their feelings or how unprepared they might be financially and academically. This leads to the ultimate regret of their decision. One reason why some students may not be prepared is because high schools are not doing a good enough job. There are more students graduating than ever from high schools, but only a portion of them are ready for university. High schools seem to put a lot of pressure on wanting students to graduate, and they overlook the fact of actually preparing the students. Students who do the bare minimum in high school just to get by will still graduate. But here's the big question: how will they ever succeed in a secondary institution? Financial stability and failing to have the proper funds are another reason as to why students will drop out. Due to student loans, almost half of the students in the United States who borrowed money are failing to make their payments. This leads to a brutal sequence of debt along with tons of stress that will ultimately drive the students out of school. Also, when a student enters university and is unprepared, they tend to not have their expectations set straight. For example, many will fail to balance academics with their social life. The partying and staying up late is all fun until students start to blow off classes and reach the point where they have fallen too far behind to catch up. Therefore, they will start to become discouraged and burnt out, so they end up leaving. Perhaps if students had time to reflect and set their priorities straight before rushing into university, these situations could be avoided. Many young people who rush into university become locked into bad career choices. For example, most young aspiring engineers are not aware that an engineer spends most of their time in front of a computer, not out on construction sites or in laboratories creating work that inspires wonder. And this is mainly because they chose this career based on very little experience of the job. Most 18-year-olds have no idea what they want to do with their lives after high school and have a very narrow view of what career options are available to them, and more specifically, what the careers entail. With that being said, people spend a big portion of their day at work. Work defines a person. When someone is unhappy at work, other areas of their life will suffer. Taking a gap year could give young adults an opportunity to work at different jobs and gain experience in various fields of employment. Going into university too quickly can shut down such opportunities. The more experience these young people have with different types of work, the more knowledgeable they will be when it eventually comes to going to university. They will know exactly what it is they would like to enroll into, and they will feel 100% confident in their decision. If a young person is unsure about university and goes anyway, they are doing themselves a disservice. They must explore their interests and learn about what they want as a person before settling on something that could affect the rest of their lives. It is important to understand that taking a gap year after secondary school is an advantageous option. Veteran college admissions consultant Park Muth, who spent nearly 30 years in the admissions office at the University of Virginia, stated that putting a hold on university is the best investment you can make in your child's education. He stated that parents have been chauffeurs and secretaries for their kids all their lives, so kids tend to have a rough adjustment period when they head to college. Taking a gap year is an antidote to helicopter parenting. It is an investment in the whole person. A gap year allows for a break from classroom learning, a chance for personal growth, and time outside of school to discover different interests. During this time, students can work and earn money. They can also travel, which could possibly introduce new opportunities that may not have been present had they immediately entered university. When a young person travels to a new country, they will be immersed into a culture that is very different from the one they are used to. This will lead to inevitable growth amongst an individual which could not be achieved within four walls, and it will create a new sense of maturity among the person as well. In fact, many institutions support gap years and have reported a higher grade point average in students who took the decision to take a year off. The better performance in university, since the student had time to refresh and ground themselves, allows for a better chance at completing their degree on time and leads to greater clarity in career ambition. It is critical to understand that there is a more fitting choice in the event that one is not prepared to attend a post-secondary institution. Taking time off after secondary school is ending up increasingly normal every year. None of this is meant to stop young people from going to college. A secondary education is a good thing to have, but the timing is so important. There are alternatives to delaying a college education after high school. Young people should not feel rushed and must understand that university is not the only option, and in many cases, not the best option if one is unsure. Taking a year to fulfill a non-university avenue and to feel no pressure will only benefit future success.